Hello and welcome to another IELTS essay correction. The topic today is some people think that air travel should grow without a limit while others believe that government should limit it. Discuss both views and give your opinion. So it's basically growing without limit. These are the advantages and that government should limit it. These are the disadvantages, merits and demerits. Discuss both views and give your opinion. Though it is not written as advantages and disadvantages, basically you have to think on those lines. Let us quickly go through the introduction and find out how the student has performed. This is the introduction, and there are some good things about it. Many people prefer an aeroplane. The first sentence here is a general statement as it should be, and the second sentence is really well structured. It begins from here to here. Now, the first part, let me underline, the first part, the while construction has been used to show the contrast. While some people, comma, here, others. This is a while construction which is really recommended in presenting two contrasting situations. So while some people claim that air travel should be promoted, this is view one. Now, student has mentioned the reason as well without any limitation since it boosts tourism. This is really good. So the student has mentioned the reasons behind it. Since it boosts tourism, others argue that it should be controlled. This is view 2 over here because it pollutes the environment. Again, the student has mentioned the reason. So this is a really well-structured sentence. In my opinion, now the student has also touched the final part. In my opinion, aircraft traveling should be encouraged when considering its benefits to a country despite its few drawbacks. There are some structural changes in this sentence. So the introduction is really well written, covering all the major elements of the question. Let us come to body paragraph 1. Now, the student has written the body paragraph 1 on view 1 that it boosts tourism. Okay, let me change the color here. The first sentence is too simple. And before going into this paragraph, it is important to understand that tourism can be of various categories. Tourism can be for entertainment. It's called entertainment tourism. Okay, another is for educational purposes. It's called education tourism. Another is health tourism. These days, health tourism is gaining credence. So health tourism is basically when you are traveling from one country to another just for only for promoting your health. You are going there for good hospitals, better medical infrastructure. So people are traveling for tourism. People are touring for health reasons as well. So there are various things that can be touched. Student could have written over here to pursue knowledge and experience entertainment. This could have been better put as educational tourism and entertainment tourism. The parallelism is excellent over here. Please note that student has written many travelers like to explore the world too. Now there are two things, 1 and 2. So pursue knowledge and experience entertainment. These are verb. The first word is a verb, and this is also a verb. This is a well-written statement. Now it is worth noting that there are a number of things student has done. The good thing is that the idea is clearly mentioned and the explanation is also well covered. So the explanation begins from here to the end, up to this point, and thereafter it is the example. Example is also a part of explanation actually. The problem is that the explanation and example are not closely related to air travel. They are more related to tourism. So tourists, foreign exchange, the benefits of tourism, employment. I've corrected this just to help understand how to structure the sentences. However, the idea is missing. It should have been more about air travel than about tourism. So ideally it should have been idea one, why air travel tourism, so explain how tourism is promoted by air travel, not the benefits of tourism. So this place should have been reserved for this place should have been reserved for so air travel how air travel um, boosts tourism, not the benefits of tourism. So the question which the student had in mind was somehow altered by this point, and this is a common mistake students make. So the context is lost over here, and though the arguments are well structured, everything is fine, the student will lose bands because of this major mistake. So similarly, example, flocks of tourists visit Maldives, a small country in the Indian Ocean, from different parts of the world by airplanes. This example is better than the explanation itself. With promotion of air travel, tremendous growth over the last decade. This is fine. However, the explanation is not as clear. It should have been more clear. Um, just for the purpose of ideas, there are a number of things that airplanes or air travel helps in. Not only it helps in tourism, but also it helps in business development. So the international business is mostly conducted through air travel. People travel from one part of the world to another, so international as well as national, international as well as national business travel. So within a country, domestic, which is also called domestic travel. So for instance, United States it's a huge country, and I guess if this is United States and Canada, let me draw a map over here just for a better explanation. Okay, this is Canada, this is United States. I guess this distance is about, just for discussion purpose, this is, I guess, 5,000 miles. And it's a huge country. If you want to travel from New York to perhaps Vancouver over here, or Sacramento, distance is too long. And if you're conducting business, then air travel plays a major role. You can't travel by trains or by public transport or even your own car. It will take days to reach from one destination to another, one corner to another corner, or from the east coast to the west coast. And so this could have been also used over here, that air travel plays a major role in promotion of business. Now, in comparison to the previous paragraph, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2 is much better structured. This is body paragraph 2. Let us go through it. This is the opening sentence and the idea. This is idea for why it needs to be controlled. However, the increasing popularity of air travel results in air pollution. Now, this is wrong. This is wrong, since it is not the popularity that is resulting in air pollution, it is the air travel that is resulting in air pollution. So write clearly, write directly. However, the increasing number of people or large number of people traveling through aeroplanes is resulting in air pollution. Something like that, that links directly air travel to air pollution. Thereafter, the student explains in sufficient detail. This detail is fine, so this is an explanation. Explanation is fine. For instance, this also, it seems good, except some minor mistake over here. You have to mention which 10 years, the last 10 years, or the 19 decades of decade of 1980s, 1990s, the decade of first decade of the 21st century. So mention which 10 years you're talking about. Thereafter, the construction is fine, and just one thing that you have to mention, it needs to be controlled. So without mentioning that it needs to be controlled, it is not a sufficient response. So there should be stringent government restrictions or regulations in place, and there should be alternative means such as fast-moving trains, also called maglev trains. This is magnetic levitation. Just for your knowledge, maglev is magnetic magnetic levitation. So essentially it means fast moving train that does not move on track. So this is a train and this is a track. So to reduce friction, there's nothing between train and tracks, and there is just alternating magnetic uh, signs. So they repel each other, and the train basically moves in air. There's an air pocket over here between train and the track. They're air pocket. So these are called maglev trains. They're very famous in France, Japan, and these days in China as well. So this was my response to this essay. A few structural things and a few things that the student should have added instead of just explaining some other things. Thank you for watching the video and subscribe to the channel to stay tuned with more interesting stuff.